Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is Jack Bender, and welcome back to Bar4Bar. Wow, it's been a minute since I said that because last time I hopped in front of this microphone, I was 47 pounds heavier. I've lost 47 pounds since then. Um, I was in a completely different state of mind. Look, I want to make a whole different, episode or video kind of explaining my absence, but I also just want to apologize for my absence because hip hop and music has always been my passion and still is, very much so, just to the degree it was, maybe even more so than, say, 8 months ago or 9 months ago, however long it's been since I've uploaded an episode. Um, but I had to take some time away for myself and get my headspace right, get my body right, and just make some certain changes to my life that were holding me back and were just making me an unhappy person. I want to talk more about that later, like I said, but I figured a good time to return to doing the podcast was list week, and I know I'm like the 20th uh, music YouTuber or slash podcaster to hop on this because people like Fantano or Sean C have been doing this for years. But fuck it, quite honestly. Look, man, this has not been an easy year, even past 2020. 2021 was not any more forgiving than 2021's, minus the pandemic getting a tad better. Knock on wood. Um, but these songs that I'm about to list to you did not make it a whole lot easier. This, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the worst hip hop songs of 2021. Yeah, these songs just have no reason to exist. They're either songs that just shouldn't exist to begin with, or are so unbearably bad that I want to rip my eardrums out and stomp them out. Yeah, anyway, let's get into it. Look, it's been a minute since I've done this. I'm not gonna lie to you. Getting mic shyness, if that's even what you call it. But worst songs in hip hop of 2021. Let's get it going. Just because this is not a very important list, hence the title, I'm not going to go in any sort of specific order here, either 10 to 1 or 1 to 10 or anything like that. These are just my 10 consensus and my own view worst hip hop songs of 2021. All right. The first one we have to start off with came out earlier this year, courtesy of YBN Amir, and I think you know which one I'm talking about. Soul Train. This dude was dead serious when he released this. Dead serious. Like afterwards, he kind of memed it, and he's like, "Song of the Year, Soul Train," in a very ironic fashion. But somebody sat in the studio with this dude and told him this was it. Like I could never be me. We gotta normalize telling our friends if their music is shit. But this is like just this terrible auto tune over his voice that just makes him sound like between drowning and being abducted by aliens. Like that's like it's right in between those, right in the gray area of both. Just this awful like guitar type beat that very poppy, but also just a fucking mess. And the auto tune just drones his voice out and drags it out in such an awkward way that I really don't know what was going through his head when he made this, but it could have definitely been kept in the hard drive. But yeah, that is definitely my first on the list, and that would, if I had to put these in order, that's top three. I'd say almost definitely top three. The second song on my list is not one I wanted to put on here, but had to put on here, was Meek Mill. Meek Mill released an album earlier this year called Expensive Pain. Actually, not earlier this year, probably just like 2 3 months ago, top maybe 2 months ago. And look, Meek. This is kind of a good summary of the album. I would say this one song is because Meek as someone who's enjoyed Meek's music in the past. Meek is someone that has not had very much artistic progression or artistic growth in his career. He's always kept the same style, and of course, like the songs in the album that I'll come back to. I like the songs sharing locations with Dirk and Lil Baby, but and the intro "Hate on Me," which samples "Hate Me Now" by Nas. Like those are, especially the intro, like those are hype songs that bring me back to listening to Dreams and Nightmares, listening to Wins and Losses, and these Meek albums that I remember, or DC4, like these Meek albums that I remember really enjoying, but like there's been no growth. There's been no attempt to branch out into any other styles, any other topical regions. It's just been very, and it gets exhausting after a while, even especially when you've been listening to Meek for someone like as someone long as someone like I have. Jesus Christ, it has been a while since I've done this, but like yeah, I mean, you look at now between now and 2012, it's like he's still doing the hype songs, which are cool. They're good. They're good for the gym, but then any attempt he's made to branch out has just been basically mimicking another artist. And On My Soul, which the second or third track on this album is just that. It's just a really bad Lil Durk impersonation, and it's cringeworthy how clearly he's imitating it. I mean, and the song, I mean, the heavy auto tune on his voice, which really doesn't sound terrible on Meek, but it's just so unnecessary, and he knows just as well as anybody else that it's not his style, and that it blatantly sounds like a Walmart version of Lil Durk. Look, I want to see some artistic. I want to hear new music from Meek. I don't want to make it sound like I'm trashing him, but there's just got to be some change or growth in one way or another because releasing the same song or a similar style of song for basically a decade now, when you really think about it, it doesn't hold it doesn't hold over time. And if he wants to remain relevant and he wants to remain important and seen and as a kind of a quote unquote big dog in this industry, I think that's something he's gonna need to understand and learn. But yeah, I still love Meek. Let's not get it twisted. But this song just did not need to exist and should not have existed. Speaking of songs that should not have existed, Drake decided to drop easily one of the most disappointing albums of 2021 in my opinion, Certified Lover Boy. This track in particular just really did not need to exist. I don't care how popular it is. Way Too Sexy featuring Future and Young Thug. Um, the only good characteristic of this track, in my opinion, is Future on the hook. And I guess Young Thug had a decent verse on the back end of the track and near the very tail end. But dude, this okay. So the Fred, whatever his last name is, the guy who made the original song "I'm Too Sexy," um, there's like this sample of his vocals like looping in the back very faintly, but just enough to it annoys you during the beat. It's a very during the beat. It's during the beat. It's a very glamorous, very polished beat, which but it just sounds like a mess. And Future sounds okay on the hook, but every other portion of the track is this is one of the most underwritten Drake songs I've ever heard. It just seems like he didn't even freestyle it. It sounds like he pulled. It sounded like Adonis wrote this shit. I swear to God, I don't know what he was thinking. I mean, yeah, there's some people who can get away with saying absolutely nothing on a track and just having a good beat. Playboy Cardi is a good example. Yeah, I've never heard that dude say one memorable thing in his entire career, and I'm still gonna bump his music because that's his style. Drake, and look, Drake is someone who is a more than capable MC, a more than capable songwriter, and I expect that from him, even on a song that's just meant to be a turn-up song or a fun song or whatever. And then, of course, Young Thug's on the back end of the song with a decent verse, but it's almost like he just doesn't want anyone to know he's there with how short and forgettable his verse really is, just as like the song transitions out. Like this is just a song that I get so annoyed of hearing because it's Drake and it's TikTok friendly and all that. Like I still can't stand this song. It has no, I don't think it's gonna hold weight over time. I think it's cool for now. I think people will realize over time that okay, this is just not good. The fourth song on my list is the one and only Tom Mickey D. Tom McDonald. The White Macklemore. He dropped a lot of. I mean, you could really say everything he dropped this year is just one pick, because I still have not. I have yet to see this dude make a good song. But Fake Woke is the name of the song I'm going to get into today. Dude, it's just so the hook is it's like he's trying to go for like this punkish hook with like the stretched out vocals and stuff like that, and it's so cringy. I swear to God, the only people I've ever heard enjoy this song, I can only imagine enjoying this song, are 40-year-old dads who just think everything in this new school generation of hip hop is trash and call it mumble crap. Like, this shit is so dumb, and the whole fake deep narrative he carries throughout his music, it's I don't understand why people gravitate towards it. It's garbage. It's hot garbage, and he's not saying anything of crazy like value that people didn't know. Like he's like this whole woke sentiment he has going on is just so cringy and so it's so victimizing. He victimizes the out of himself as a marketing scheme, and the music is just not good enough in any facet to back that up. I don't know why people like this guy. I don't know why he continues to do this for a full time living. This should not happen, but I digress. The fifth song on this list is none other than DJ Khaled featuring Cardi B, Big Paper. Now, I have not enjoyed any of DJ Khaled's music, mostly for the last 2, 3 records. Especially Son of or Son of Father of Assad, which is the one that he got pissed about Tyler the Creator taking #1 over him in. Like this dude has not really released anything since I think it was 2017 or 2018 when Grateful came out. That was the last DJ Khaled record. I remember actually coming away with a few tracks that I imagine myself coming back to. But he just has not. It just seems like he doesn't care. His beats are very glossy, very overly polished, and overly glamorous, and it just sounds like a fucking mess. And I have a headache by the time I finish the track, which made this album an even harder listen because that's every beat on the album. But you can't just there's certain raw. I'm not asking for his beats to be unfinished and raw, but you got to know when you're doing too much. And as a curator, that should be something that is in your job description. I mean, even though you're handing this off to essentially a bunch of artists and producers, to collaborate on this and just kind of you're overseeing that. You should know better. And I think the artists that are hopping on his tracks don't really seem to care anymore. I remember when artists would actually give him a worthwhile verse on his records. That doesn't happen anymore. I don't think any of them care because they see how little he cares, seemingly, and hence why he's viewed the way he is at this point in the music industry. He doesn't hold any sort of, serious value. He doesn't. People don't take him seriously like they used to or might have used to. And this song is a good example. Big Paper with Cardi B. Look, I don't mind Cardi B, and I actually enjoy a good amount of Cardi B's music. Invasion of Privacy was still a great album to me. But it's just 3.5 minutes of Cardi B rapping offbeat, so painfully offbeat, and the beat itself is shit. It's just it's a very typical one you can imagine Cardi rapping over, maybe just a little darker, in style of the trap beat she's used to rapping over. But dude, it's just so terrible, and it's you can't even bang your head to it just because it's so terribly offbeat and cringy, underwritten. Now, to be honest with you, I don't really blame Cardi B for underwriting this one because, like I said, I don't think anyone has the respect at this point for DJ Khaled to actually give him a good verse, and I don't think he cares enough to point out or call out artists and be like, "Hey, this shit was ass, re-record it." But yeah, this song was just not good in any sense. Another artist similar to Tom McDonald that didn't really make any good music whatsoever this year, Dax. This dude Dax had the nerve to drop a song called "The Next Rap God," and if that's not a bold enough claim, the song is 10 fucking minutes long. And then shortly after, he released, drum roll, "The Next Rap God 2," 20 minutes long. And by the way, this is the same beat all throughout. There's only been a few songs in all of hip hop that are like 9+ minutes long that I enjoy. Like Friday Night Cypher on Big Sean's album Detroit 2 had they weren't really smooth beat transitions, but the rapping was good enough and the beat switches were engaging enough to hold my attention span, especially with so many different voices over the course of 10 minutes. Under Pressure, actually, literally sitting right behind me is my Under Pressure vinyl from Logic. Under Pressure, the title track off that album, was 10 minutes long, and that was a good listen because it was engaging and it had some good introspective lyrics to it. But Dax just rapping in a lyrical miracle spiritual individual type fashion just seeing how many syllables can I cram in X amount of time without actually saying anything. It's look, Dax is not the only YouTube rapper, to be fair, that is notorious for this. I think certain YouTube rappers have had decent growth. I think GDG, even though I don't think he's that good, has made some worthwhile songs. I think fucking Quedeca made a really good record this year, really different from what he's usually doing. And but like Dax is one of those rappers just like Crypt or I don't know, fucking Mac Lethal, that just is just so bad because they're trying too hard and they're sheer Eminem wannabes. It's like those Eminem stands that you know did impersonations of it. You know how we have Michael Jackson and Elvis impersonators someday? There's gonna be Eminem impersonators walking around after he passes away. So please protect Eminem at all costs because I just do not want to see that at any nightclub, at any karaoke night of any sorts. But yeah, this Dax is just kind of the figurehead of that, and that's why I thought I'd call him out because there was not a single good song from him this year. The next one on my list is gonna be Coilorae. Coilorae. The internet's punching bag, in other words. Her song Twin'em. Why did she think this is Coi Leray doing her Cardi impression? And I know that sounds like a very poor way to describe it, but that's the only way I can. The beat is very spread, these like high shrieking synths that happen and her like over the course of the hook and her rapping like she just came out the womb. This is like I don't understand I get it's big on TikTok and it actually makes for good TikTok sounds to be honest, but as a song, like it's just obnoxious, and it's to the point where it's very much unlistenable. Coi Leray has not. I wouldn't say Coi Leray has fallen off because I still think she's got some songs that are worth listening to. But lots of the songs she does with other artists, the features carry her. She's realizing that her style is not really unique enough to carry its own weight over time, and I don't think I can't see how much longer that's going to last for her, but I guess time will only tell because I do anticipate her dropping some more music in 2022, just like many other people. So I guess we never know. I'm gonna hold my breath on that, but this song is definitely ass. Speaking of ass, the next song on my list, and I'm gonna get a lot of hate from this, but from the white girls living in six-figure homes, uh, the Kid Leroy featuring Miley Cyrus, "Without You." Look, I don't like the Kid Leroy just because his music's very generic. The songwriting is so mediocre, and I think the rasp in his voice is obnoxious especially when he goes into like a higher pitch. But the original song was okay. I'll give him that. It wasn't a bad song, but it wasn't interesting enough or different enough for me to come back to it enough. Now, Miley Cyrus is not someone I dislike necessarily, but she just does not sound good on the hook. She has this like she comes in with this like vocal tone of like a grunge singer from like the late 90s or early 2000s, and it just sounds so bad, especially when she's going for like the higher notes. It sounds so cringy, and it really it turned it from just a below average song to a really unlistenable song really fucking quick. So yeah, please do better. The second to last song on my list is gonna be Mario Judah, "Remembered Your Name." I kind of just want to look back at the whole Mario Judah thing and kind of think it was just a big ass fever dream because what the fuck is this? As someone who grew up on rock and metal to a degree, especially rock and like grunge and punk and all that, like I can see Mario Judah's appeal, and I think in the right ways he's been very hit or miss on the tracks he's done that aren't Cardi impersonations. This one was definitely a miss. "Remember Your Name." It's just a fucking mess, beginning to end. There's no structure to the song. Even the most insane metal songs, have some sort of structure to them or have some sort of listenability to them for one way or another. But this one was just a lot of screaming, a lot of really bad mixing, and a very much a mess of a song structure wise. And I don't I don't see how. I hope he doesn't keep going like this because I mean, look, people. I think he thinks his audience is like not hip to some degree of rock. Uh, and they think this is just something they're supposed to get used to sound wise. But I'm here to tell you, as someone who grew up on this is not how it's supposed to be done. I do hope Mario Judah actually comes out with some music soon because I'm interested to see what he does. But this song was just flat out awful. The last song on my list is kind of a meme. Can't lie to you, but this dude, just like everybody else on his list, was also dead fucking ass. 645 AR, 645 AR, whatever his name is. He's from New York. The song's name is Crash Out. You probably know him from his song For the Trap, and if you don't recognize that name, he's like, look, he just has that really high, squeaky, overly auto-tuned voice, and it's like if Cardi has the baby voice, the this is like the fetus voice. That's kind of what that is. Like it's and I didn't think I thought he was like it was kind of like a joke at first, genuinely. But then he comes on a Genius interview on For the Trap, and he's like, "Man, there's some emotion in what I'm saying." I'm like, what are you saying? What are you saying though? And to make it even worse, this comes on an album where the cover art is a ripoff and literally a direct replica of "Get Rich or Die Trying" by 50 Cent, the album cover for that. So, and I get paying homage is cool, but not when you literally replicate the album cover, and that's not even about the song, but the song is just trash. I'm sorry. Like some other songs have certain sort of melodies or flows to them, where it's like, okay, I can maybe see how someone would sit through this unironically and enjoy it, but this was not one of them. This was just a fucking mess, beginning to end. I feel like I've used the word mess a pretty good, damn good amount in this video, but that's really the best way to say it. Just laziness and not seeming to fucking care in the slightest bit. Now, look, I'm gonna be releasing a few more episodes over the next coming weeks, summing up the past year. I'm definitely gonna do an honorable mentions list. I'm gonna do a best songs list. I'm gonna do a best albums list. Those three are set in stone. The other, as far as other ones go, like worst albums, I feel like I kind of touched on a few of those in this video anyway, like the songs off albums that were just genuinely bad. But those three are definitely coming up. And once again, I want to apologize for having been out for so long and having been so away and distant from doing this. This is really my passion, and this is where my heart's at. And I have a lot of big plans for this, and I still want to, I want to get some more artists on here to interview. But before I go, guys, just want to say thank you one more time. Thank you for the constant support and, coming back, and all the people who have still been asking me to come back and start doing the show again. Those are the people I do this for, and of course for myself and my own love and passion of hip hop. So go ahead and, if you haven't already, follow Bar4Bar on Instagram. It's at Bar4Bar Podcast. On Twitter, it's Bar4Bar Official. You can also find me, Jack Bender, on every social media platform, including Instagram at Jack Bender, on Twitter at Jack Bender with an extra R at the end. And until next time, guys, this has been the worst songs of 2021. Jack Bender from Bar4Bar, signing out. Peace out, guys.